The postseason of fall sports is coming in high speed, and the hype never gets old. Good day, Minot sports fans, on this Tuesday. That is the day I'm recording on, Tuesday, September 28th. Already just a few days from October. Amazing how the time has been flying. I hope all you guys are making the most out of these times, even if they seem slow. But we got some fantastic achievements to report on this overcast day here in Minot. Heck, we've been seeing a little bit of rain. Rarely have we been getting those nowadays. Some fun-filled, timely events this past weekend where you don't expect to be somewhere at certain times, and much more coming up on this episode of the Minot Sports Podcast, number 7 of Season 2. We are sponsored by KMSU TV and Radio. I'm lucky to be using these studios at the college, and also very fortunate to be the KMSU radio manager for the school year. Our second show of MSU Inside Out coming out this Thursday at 5. More to talk on MSU campus news, sports, weather, and some interviews to go along with it. Tune in to KMSUradio.com for your live MSU College radio feed. Yes, we do in fact have one of those. You will hear many of our wonderful voices in the broadcasting department. It can be a radio DJ for an hour. We'll talk about any current news going on, weather, or whatever it is that we'd like to talk about. We can talk about anything as long as we follow the guidelines. Right here, we got Minot Sports to talk about and the impending postseason coming straight at us. And let's get started with that. Minot High Majettes Golf hosting a whole plethora of schools from around the state. You got the Bismarck clubs, you got good old Jamestown, Dickinson, Williston, pretty much anyone you can think of, they were there. They were at the Surfs Valley Golf Course here in town. And in particular for this sport in girls golf, you got your team winners, Bismarck Century Patriots winning the West Region in girls golf. And then, of course, you have your state qualifiers too. Unfortunately, Minot did not make the cut. 8th place with a team score of 375. Although we had some individual winners, let's give a big congratulations, a shout out to freshman Cali Wilson and senior Bella Dobrinski on becoming West Region individual qualifiers. Both of them made it inside the top 11, and so they will be moving on to the big stage. Congrats also to Bella Dobrinski and Savannah Brintnell on becoming all WDA finishers. If you don't know what that is the top season scoring average amongst golfers in the state. And then congrats one more time to Bella for being named WDA Senior Athlete of the Year. That is a huge recognition. Be proud of the achievement, Bella and the team. Certainly proud of one of their own individuals too. And also for the other achievements that were made. Adding on to the hardware. Nicely done, ladies. In my last episode yesterday that was recorded on Friday, we didn't touch on the weekend of games happening. We'll make that adjustment right here, right now, real quick. Leading off, the Bishop Ryan Lions, and mixing with R.A. Deemer's athletes in there too. The football team getting ready to play with the Nedrose Cardinals. Now, here's an interesting story about these two. And I believe I said this in the other episode that here we have Bishop Ryan Lions. They normally would play their home games at the Herb Parker Stadium, but due to the bubble still being up, don't want to waste or just, it kind of makes sense for them to keep it up because why take it down? Certainly don't want to waste, having to take it down and then having to put it back up again. That would just be a hassle. So they made that decision fair and square, respectfully, yes. So where does Bishop Ryan go and play? Well, Dwayne Carlson could have been an option. They could have handled the two schedules together and make sure there weren't any time conflicts. It wasn't Dwayne Carlson, but they did end up settling with the Nedrose football field, and that is where they are playing their home games currently this season. And so with them playing Nedrose, they're both sharing the same field. It's convenient for them, I guess. So Nedrose in the schedule was a designated home team, as it is also their home field. If it weren't for the conditions right now, Nedrose wouldn't be sharing this field with Bishop Ryan, but they are, and lucky for them on the schedule, they ended up having to share it together for a game against each other. And if you like one-sided offense or you just love seeing a lot of points being scored on the scoreboard, this was your game to go to, as Bishop Ryan didn't make it any easier for Nedrose. The final score in that game was 54-12. The Lions win over the Nedrose Cardinals. Lions in the Class A Region 3 division moved to 4-2 overall, 3-1 inside the region. Only team they are behind is Velva, undefeated at 5-0 overall, 4-0 in the Region 3. And the Lions push Nedrose to 3-3 overall, but Nedrose still with a 3-1 winning record inside the regional division. Going back to all that offense that was happening, Bishop Ryan having a nice set of players in the pool, the talent, and they all put on a show for the fans. Jackson Feller, 5 touchdowns, 1 receiving. Yes, 5 total touchdowns for Jackson Feller. Just extraordinary from Mr. Feller. Nick Sanders, 2 passing touchdowns. Logan Merck at wide receiver had a passing touchdown on a Wildcat formation. And that pass was to Zach Hendrickson, who also scored 3 touchdowns himself that night. One of them actually was a pick 6 thrown by the Cardinals quarterback Ethan Miller. Lions once again making it look effortless. Just another one of those things where just business as usual for them. Next up, facing off with South Prairie on Saturday, October 3rd, matinee, 1 o'clock. Minot High is going to be getting one of those soon against the Bismarck High Demons, in which that'll be on October 10th, so a week later, except that'll be at night at 7. Speaking of Magi football, they had a game in this time frame of the weekend. They were in Bismarck at the Community Bowl, taking on the Bismarck Century Patriots, the defending state champions. So it was already a big test to see how they could handle Century's big guns and maybe see how well the Minot guys hold up to the task. You got to give credit to the Magicians. Although the Bismarck Century Patriots won 22-16, think about that score for a second, though. That's only a 1-score game. If Minot High got another touchdown in there, that's tie game. And that's not including the extra point. They were that close against the defending champions. And like I said, you got to give them a lot of credit because they played this team hard. Holding the state champions from last year to only 22 points, that gave them a chance to win. And they were close. Very, very close. You wouldn't have seen that last year or even the year before. It would have been something like 40-10 or 30-15 or something. Are we really starting to see this team merge together as one and really working hard together and getting more used to the system, getting more used to each other, getting more used to the playbook? Coach Hendershot really starting to build something, build a connection with this team, because the coaching staff's working hard at it. Would you have thought this game wasn't going to turn out to be 22-16? You're probably looking at the important stat on there, the L, the loss, but look at how Minot High made Century. Look at how they made them try to earn it. Sometimes you just may have a mentality where you have nothing to lose. Now, on the other hand, though, that puts Minot High 1-3 in the standings. Very critical for them in these last 3 games. If they are to get into the postseason, it's probably at this rate they have to win their last 3. And the schedule isn't easy. Bismarck High, Bismarck Legacy, and then Williston at home for the final game, regular season game for Minot High. This is a big test for Minot High to see how well they can come together and use this mid-season improvement that they've been getting Right now, they're in the race with Mandan and Legacy. Like I said, mentioned Legacy in the schedule. Minot High's second to last game. That'll be a huge one, depending on what the standings look like, because you never know. Mandan's sitting in that fourth spot right now. They could falter. The thing also with Williston is that they've had a few games canceled or moved because of COVID positive tests in the system, so they had to postpone a bit. That also affects when other teams will be playing, so also have to keep that into consideration. But Minot High is still in the race, and they're still in contention. But from this past game, seeing some improvement that leads to growth, if they can take this as a positive, what happens when they start to feel good? And then that's going to have an effect on how they'll play on the field. Big playoff race this time around. But also right now, it is encouraging to see some growth and competitiveness from the Minot High Magicians football team. Let's move on to some Class B volleyball in the District 12 Region 6. RE Beavers hosting one of the toughest teams this year in the state. That is Linton HMB. They also have the same mascot as the Bishop Ryan School. So the Linton HMB Lions, they beat RE Beavers 3-0, a sweep. Normally you don't see that often with RE Beavers, but for how good Linton HMB is, it was one of those scheduled games where it was going to be tough competition for them. And you can't really fault them because do they benefit from playing tough competition? Does this help them get ready for when postseason time comes around? They know who they're going up against. Well, who may they potentially face? Of course, that would have to come later, but it helps to get a scouting report on certain teams around the state. But Linton, 8-0 overall, haven't lost yet. It was certainly going to be a challenge for RE Beavers, and they played them well in set 1. And you can say the same for set 3 as well. It was 25-23, so down to the wire in set 1, and it was 25-18, a competitive one still in set 3. But Linton pretty much just ran away with it. They are a good volleyball club in the state this year. It was going to be a tough matchup for RE Beavers, but I think the Knights can benefit from this. Playing tough teams, knowing that, there is some adversity to it, and some teams thrive off of that. We may just see that with RE Beavers this year for volleyball. Minotauros starting up preseason on the same day as RE Beavers volleyball, playing Linton. Toros hosting the Aberdeen Wings. Recently won the NAHL Robertson Cup. That was 2 seasons ago. Last year there was no winner after the cancellation of the season due to COVID. So you can still say Aberdeen is defending champions of the NAHL. Minotauros introducing the brand new video board and also 2 scoreboards now sitting in the standing room area and behind the bar stools. On the one side that holds the Minotauros Central Division Champions banner. So a brand new fan experience. I think you guys are going to love it, and in its first game, it was very beautiful. Brand new graphics, some cool animations whenever the Toros scored. They also had graphics, animations for when they win. It looks really cool, guys. You best go to a game this fall, winter, and however long they play. The Beavers clubs will also be able to use them, so everyone getting on in the fun. But for the Toros, they are winners over the Aberdeen Wings 4-3 in their second preseason game together. The first one was in Aberdeen, this one recently here in Minot. Goals scored, 2 of them by Trevor Stakawiak, Jack Campion, and Ben Murray. Murray deflecting Hunter Bjorgi's shot from the point on the power play Sikawiak's first goal was also on the power play, so Minotaur's doing good on special teams so far. Can they hold that up for when the regular season comes around? Definitely something to look at. Keenan Rancier in his preseason start, making every bit of it count. That third goal by Aberdeen was scored with 0.5 seconds left in the game, so pretty much in garbage time situation. Not really Rancier's fault, but it doesn't matter. Too little, too late for Aberdeen. Toros get the win in preseason. They move on to the War in Watford City this upcoming weekend to take on the Capital City Kitties, the Bismarck Bobcats. Toros will be wearing some nice-looking jerseys in commemoration of the Minot Fire Department and all of the divisions of the first responders. They really look nice. I have it reposted on the Instagram story here if you want to go check that out, honoring some of the police, ambulance, and firefighter divisions from a few of the counties, and the specific one that they'll also be playing in too. But once again, guys, check them out because they look really nice. You want to know what else is really nice? Some more return of hockey in the city of Minot. Not only did the women's team unveil their schedule not too long ago, and the Toros also getting ready to play soon, but the Minot State men's team about to unveil their 2020-2021 schedule, set for tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. We can still call them the defending champions because the tournament got canceled once again because of COVID. So they're still defending champs, and it is now confirmed. And we are now going to be able to see Beavers hockey again after a stoppage. Now, because we don't know it yet, obviously I'm recording this before the schedule release. It may be a modified schedule, maybe more in-state rivalry games. But this team's been good for a while now, still having that title of champion. I don't think we see them slow down. They're still a good team, still very fun to watch. And we're going to see the unveiling of their new season. It just seems that more and more hockey news is on the positive side of things. Get excited, Minot sports fans. And heck, who knows if it'll even be a modified schedule. It may be the same as what it was last year, year before, years all the way before that. It is very exciting to get our Beavers hockey back. They have a winning culture, and they can certainly do some damage to the opponents. And you want to talk more on winning culture, look at the Minot High Majettes swim and dive team, for example. This past weekend, they did something pretty cool. Remember how I asked if they were ever going to overtake Century one of these meets? That came to fruition on Saturday. They started their doubleheader trio meets on Friday. They hosted the aforementioned Bismarck Century Patriots. They were in town this weekend. Friday, the team scores were Century 1 at 217, Minot High second at 182, Dickinson at 163. Talking about the trio event there, Minot hosting two other teams, which led to the decision of no fans, keep the players and swimmers safe. And then on Saturday, it happened in a swim meet that lasted a long time. Minot High Majettes just edging out the Patriots, the number one ranked girls swim team in the state, defending state champs on and on. Minot High has overtaken them in a swim meet, and one of these times it was going to come for them, and deservedly so. The final team scores were Minot High at number 1 at 5:59, Century at 5:57, so it was a tight-knit race. All the details mattered in that one. Just goes to show you how critical they are. And then Williston came in place of Dickinson. They scored 403 at third. But a big salute and credit to Minot High Majettes Swim and Dive. Century has been a big challenge for a while, and they beat them in one of these swim meets. So good for them, good for the program, and maybe we see that they start to get a sense of belief that they can take this one all the way to the state tournament, the state meet. Again, masterful job by Coach Jensen and Majettes Swim and Dive. Keep on working hard at it and just roll with this confidence. Roll with this win. Commit to get better every day and use it to your advantage. That is going to do it for this episode of the Minot Sports Podcast, the 7th one into Season 2. Again, we are sponsored by KMSU TV and Radio. I'm very fortunate to be using the first-class studios and facilities here on campus. It's a wonderful gig, wonderful time, and wonderful resources. Go check us out on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. KMSU TV and Radio can be found on those same platforms as well. Check out other KMSU personalities, Joshua Strong Photography, MSU Red and Green newspaper as well. They put out some phenomenal work on a week-to-week basis, even daily. Thank you guys for listening to this one. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe and healthy out there. Take care, and have a nice day.